Right, there we go. Hey guys, welcome back. As you know, I was supposed to be opening a box of Strixhaven today, but my impulsiveness got the better of me, and I opened it. So instead, we have got a booster box of Kaladesh, another booster box of Modern Horizons 2, and a very slightly faded bundle of Kaladesh. Which is okay, if the outside's a bit bleached from the sun, it doesn't really matter because it's what's inside that counts. So I'm going to start off with the Kaladesh stuff. I'm going to start off with the bundle and then do the booster box, and then we'll do the Modern Horizons booster last. Oh, am I? Is that any better? I'll take the silence as a yes, I guess. We'll go with that. Thanks, Cap. So let's put those there for now. And we'll start off with, like I say, a slightly faded bundle. I'm sure anyone who's watched a couple of these will know Kaladesh was a set that I was not around for when it was first released. But again, with my love of mythology, especially my other cultures' mythologies, it's a set I couldn't really not get a hold of, so I paid slightly more than I would have liked to for the booster box, but you know, needs must. So with this being one of the old fat pack kind bundles, it does come with the sort of player guide that then has all of the cards in there. Hi Lil, thank you for coming. Which I still think those were a really good idea. I know you can get it free online, but part of me still likes the paper versions of them that you used to be able to get. So, as usual for a bundle, we have a land pack, 10 booster packs, and our spin down, which is there. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. Come on. No, it's clearly not having it. But there you go. So, let's get started. I have had a bit of a look at this set. I would quite like some of the some of the planeswalkers from this. Yeah, the camera's fighting me already. I've got a new fancy camera that is supposed to autofocus. Let's have a see. Can I get it to focus? Aha! There we go. I just have to kind of put my hand in front of it. Yeah, I decided to go for something a little better that can actually hopefully read the cards. So, they're the commons. Let's have a look at the uncommons. So we've got a Demolition Stomper. Come on. Focus. Ah, there we go. So, Demolition Stomper. Start your engines. Minister of Inquiries. Come on. Can you try and focus like here? That would be... No, it's clearly not playing. Ministry of Inquiries. Spire Bluff Canal. It's our rare. Which I believe of the like split lands in this is supposedly like the best value one, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit funny trying to get it to focus. It only arrived at lunchtime today, so it's still very much in the testing. So we've got built to last. Select for inspection. So I'm not going to focus on the commons too much. Ooh. Why are you upside down? Beaumat Bazaar Barge. Oh, that'd be a bugger to try and say 3 times fast when you're drunk. Fairground Trumpeter. Of each end step, put +1/+1 counter. Oh. Each +1 permanent you control this turn. Put +1/+1 counter on Fairground Trumpeter. Well, that's not too bad. I doubt it. No, it was just upside down in the pack. Speaking of limited editions, though, Kaladesh does have the inventions, which vary in price from about 30 quid up to about 450, so you never know. Might might end up walking away with more out of this than I put into it. Ooh, Fumigate. Now that's a bit of a staple board wiping commander. You know, those cards that I don't actually play. Yeah. Board wipes generally are, I'm not a fan of them. So, we've got the Contraband Kingpin. Lifelink, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. Whisperweave Angel. You do know I love my angels. Let's see if we can get it to focus on that. Come on. Yeah, there we go. But Sod's Law says the light's in the way. Oh, there we go. Exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Nice little flicker effect. Could maybe see some use in my angels for ETB effects, especially trying to set off my youthful Valkyries. So we've got a Diabolic Tutor. Search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Tutors are always good. Lost Legacy. Name a non-artifact, non-land card. Search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name, and then exile them. That player shuffles his or her library, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. That's not bad. Oh, now first foil. Pianalar. When Pianalar enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. For 1 and a red, target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Sacrifice an artifact, target creature can't block this turn, so that's not bad. And I quite like the artwork, if I can get it to... It's going to be even harder to get it to focus on it. Yeah, come on. You can do it. I think it's struggling with the foil on that one. So yeah, I've had a bit of a look at the set. I quite like the look of Sahili and Nissa. If anyone was around for Kaladesh, give me a heads up of any cards I should be particularly looking for. Another Whisperweaver Angel, which is definitely useful. Why did I put you on there? I'm already getting my piles confused. That's a reassuring start. 3 packs in. Restoration Gearsmith. When he enters the battlefield, return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, not terrible. 4 mana to get something back. Ceremonious Rejection, counter target cooler spell for 1 blue. Not bad. Especially in an artifact heavy meta. Scrap Heap Scrounger, can't block. Exile another creature card from your graveyard. Return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, not bad. Brings itself back. Where are we? There we go. So we've got Aerial Responder, Flying Vigilance Lifelink, Flying Dwarf. Sure, why not? Ballista Charger. Crew 3, whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and it's 6/6. Elegant Edgecrafters. Can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and Fabricate 2. Gets to put +1/+1 counters or 2 colourless servo artifacts into play. And another Fumigate. I do quite like the art on that if I can get it to... Come on. Come on. You're so close. Yeah, that's going to take some faffing with to get it working properly. So let's have a look. Shrewd Negotiator. Exchange control of target artifact you control and target artifact or creature you don't control. Always a fan of stealing stuff. Oval Chase Dragster. Trample Haste Crew 1. Spark of Creativity. Choose target creature. Exile the top card of your library. When Spark of Creativity deal damage to that creature equal to the exiled card's converted mana cost. If you don't, you may play that card until end of turn. Okay. I can see some use for that. And Confiscation Coup. Choose target artifact or creature, you get 4 energy. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's converted mana cost if you do gain control of it. That's quite cool. And these, come on, can you focus on the card without me putting my hand there? Apparently not. I will suss it out, I promise. There we go. Okay, make obsolete. Creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 till end of turn. Not bad. Snare Thopter, Flying in Haste, 3/2 for 4. Not terrible. Maulfist Doorbuster. You get 2 energy. Whenever it attacks, you may pay an energy. If you do, target creature can't block. The energy mechanic seems like something they just kind of abandoned. It seems interesting, but they kind of just ditched it. And we've got a Bristling Hydra. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. You can pay 3 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on it. And it gains hexproof. wonder if I'll go through another booster box without pulling a planeswalker, because that seems to be the way it goes with me. I don't seem to be able to pull planeswalkers. Maybe. I might try and get a planar map for next time. So... I mean, it's not even that. Even the bad planeswalkers I can't seem to pull. I've pulled, like, in all of the packs I've opened, I've pulled 2 planeswalkers. That is it. So, Fretwork Colony can't block. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you lose 1 life. Yeah, I can see uses for that. Experimental Aviator. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens. Servant of the Conduit. Tap, pay 1 energy, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Not bad. Dynavolt Tower. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get 2 energy. Tap it and pay 5 energy, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Interesting idea, but again, it feels like it's a lot of setup. Well, yeah, I know War of the Spark's littered with them, isn't it? Because there's uncommon ones in War of the Spark, isn't there? Because there's like 36 planeswalkers in the set. I will get some War of the Spark eventually. It's on the list. It just, it wasn't one of my super priorities. Chief of the Foundry, other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. It's 2/3 for 3. Not terrible. Whirl of Virtuoso. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy, pay 3 energy, create a Thopter. Again, I like this energy mechanic, but because it doesn't really have much support outside of Kaladesh, you're probably not going to build it into a deck. Fateful Showdown. Fateful Showdown deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. Ooh. Not a huge fan of that, I'll admit. So this is the last pack from the bundle. Filigree Familiar. Seen a few of those when I opened my Commander Legends. It's not terrible. Hazardous conditions. Creatures with no counters on them get -2/-2 until the end of turn. Fair enough. Refurbish. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Always good to get your artifacts back. And Toolcraft Exemplar. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control an artifact, Toolcraft Exemplar gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more artifacts, it also gains First Strike. That's pretty solid for a 1 mana creature. Because probably you're going to be running a shed load of artifacts in this set, so let's pop that over there and get the so we've got 36 booster packs here. Let's see. Can I go 36 packs without getting a Planeswalker? Probably. But we'll see how that pans out, eh? Prophetic Prism. Mana fixer, not too bad. So what have we got? A decoction module. Sounds suspect. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get 1 energy. 4 tap, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I feel like there's more efficient ways to bounce stuff to your hand, but sure, I guess the energy's nice. Console Shield Guard. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Whenever Console Shield Guard attacks, you may pay an energy. If you do, another target attacking creature gains indestructible. Again, not terrible, but again, that energy mechanic, I wanna like it, but as an additional cost, cast Disappearing Act to return a permanent you control to its owner's hand, counter target spell. Not bad. Aether Storm Rock. Flying. When it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get 1 energy. When it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Not bad. At least it has ways of generating its energy for its abilities. I feel like energy is definitely one of those that's gone to the graveyard of lost mechanics. I knew that. Okay, so Iron League Steed. Haste, fabricate 1. When it enters the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 colour servo. Okay, it's not great. Aether Meltdown. Flash. Enchant creature or vehicle. When Aether Meltdown enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Enchanted permanent has -4/-1. Not terrible. I feel like it's very wordy for what it does. Another Whisperweave Angel. The Skyship Stalker. 3/3 dragon for 4 with flying. For 1 red, it gets +1/+0. For 1 red again, it gets First Strike. Or for 1 red, it gets haste. It's a dragon. I mean, if nothing else, it's a cheap dragon. Do people still run Dragon Tribal? Don't know. There we go. So we've got another Snarethopter. Glimmer of Genius. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. You get 2 energy. 4 mana. Not terrible. Not amazing either. Another Refurbish. Aether Squall Ancient. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 energy. Pay 7 energy. Return all the creatures to their owner's hand. Activate this ability only at any time you could cast a sorcery. Okay. Interesting. If you can get the... or if you already have the energy to do it. Yeah, dragons have always been interesting, but... again, sort of... back when I used to play, they suffered from a similar issue to my angels, that... they were very high cost for any of the decent ones. Which made running an actual deck of them a little bit difficult. Arborback Stomper. Trample. When it enters the battlefield, gain 5 life. And it's 5/4 for 5. Not amazing, not terrible. Aether Torch Renegade. When it enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy. Tap it, pay 2 energy, deals 1 damage to target creature, or tap it, pay a lot of energy, like 7, 8? Deals 6 damage to target player. Weaponcraft Enthusiast. Fabricate 2. Oh, just Fabricate 2. It's a 0/1 for 3 with Fabricate, okay. Metalwork Colossus. Cost X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. Costs 11 to cast and it's a 10/10. Sacrifice 2 artifacts, return it from your graveyard to your hand. Ah, it's like Darksteel Colossus, but worse. The Foundry Inspector. Again, I've seen one of these in my Commander Legends box. So it's 3/2 artifact creature for 3 mana. An artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to play. So quite efficient. Servo Exhibition. Create 2 colorless 1/1 servo artifact creature tokens. Meh. Another Aether Meltdown. Saheeli's Artistry. It's 6 mana for choose one or both. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, or create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That's not bad. Clone effects are always pretty solid. And it being a sorcery as well in blue, you've got plenty of opportunity to get that back into your hand with various things. Or well, no, it's banned. Well, I think it's banned in Commander. Throw it on a Panoptic Mirror, or even like an Isochron Scepter, and then you just get to spam it every turn. You've got a Filigree Familiar, Consulate Surveillance. So that's one we've not seen before. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 energy, pay 2 energy, prevent all damage that will be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. Not bad if you're stalling, but again, you're reliant on that energy. It'd be good if energy worked a bit like the Phyrexian life thing, where you could pay it with mana or with energy tokens. I feel like that would give it a bit more flexibility, that would make it a bit more useful, because at the moment it's a little bit too reliant on you being able to generate that energy for it to be useful. Essence Extraction deals 3 damage to target creature and you gain 3 life. Yeah. It's a strictly worse murder. Another Lost Legacy. Obviously, when I say it's a strictly worse version of another card, that is my opinion. And could very well be wrong. I'm sure somebody will disavow me of it at some point. Incendiary Sabotage has an additional cost. Sacrifice an artifact. Deals 3 damage to each creature. Each creature's not bad. It'd be a bit worse if it was single target, but all creatures, that's... Long Tusk Cub. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Pay 2 energy, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Suppose it's good if you've got ways of generating more energy. Engineered Might. Choose one. Target creature gets +5/+5 and gains trample. Or target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains vigilance. It's interesting that the +5/+5 you could give to anything, but the creatures you control... Oh, it's creatures you control, not a creature. That's why. Oh, shut up. Smuggler's Copter. When it attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Crew 1, flying, 3/3. Again, vehicles are an interesting mechanic, but I feel like they're not supported well enough. So, we've got a Chief of the Foundry. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. We've had one of them. Janjit Sentry. It's a 2/3 Vidalcan Soldier for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Tap, pay 2 energy. You may tap or untap target artifact or creature. Again, it'd be really good if there was alternate ways to pay other than with the energy. Console Shield Guard, we've seen those. Girapur Orrery. Each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns at the beginning of each player's upkeep. If that player has no cards in hand, they draw 3 cards. Not bad. That could go in my landfall deck. Like I need more things in that deck to give me more land plays in a turn. I think if I have everything out that allows me to play extra lands in that deck, I can play something like 6 lands in a turn. Another Bombat Bazaar Barge. Gear Shift Ace. First strike when Gear Shift Ace crews a vehicle, that vehicle gains first strike. Well, that's at least that's some support for vehicles, I guess. Shrewd Negotiation, the exchange controlled target creature or artifact. Seen that. Oh, an Angel of Invention. Another angel for me. Another angel for my collection. Unifocus? Yeah, just about. I really like the artwork. So it seems to like it if I kind of cup my hands to show the card. Then it, I guess like you say, it's trying to focus on the... There's no such thing as enough swords. You can never have too many swords. And if you disagree, you're a terrible Scotsman. So we've got a Speedway Fanatic. When it crews a vehicle, that vehicle gains haste until the end of the turn. Ah, I see what you're doing here. Girapor Guide. Elf Scout 3/2. Target creature you control can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Stops people chump blocking stuff. A Sequestered Stash. Tap, add colourless mana. 4, sacrifice Sequestered Stash. You put the top 5 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may put an artifact creature card from your graveyard onto your library. It's not terrible, but... And another Sahili's Artistry. Yeah, alright, I'll give you that, I suppose. Is my microphone picking up the music as well? Yeah, I think it's because I'm close to the microphone. I think it's, Let me turn the music down a little bit. I said down, not off. Okay, there we go. I'll try that. Uncommons. So we've got another Girapur Guide. Morphous Doorbuster, Sequestered Stash. Eliminate the competition. There's an additional cost to eliminate the competition. Sacrifice X creatures. Destroy X target creatures. You know, as somebody who's building an Abzan elf tribal token generator deck, I like that. Because I can just sacrifice a boatload of tokens and wipe the board. Not technically a board wipe. Iron League Steed, Trusty Companion. It's a 3/2 hyena. It can't attack alone, it has vigilance. Not terrible, I guess. Genji Sentry, and Botanical Sanctum. Add blue or green, enters the battlefield tapped, unless you control 2 or fewer lands. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's not... I suppose if you get it in your opening hand, that's great. Okay. So we've got a Ballista Charger, a Minister of Inquiries, another Diabolic Tutor. That's not bad, that's 2 Diabolic Tutors. Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Legendary creature, Aetherborn Rogue. He's a 2/3 for 4. He has Death Touch and an awful lot of text. And when he enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down, then put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it was any colour to cast it. Okay. That's a lot of text to basically say steal a spell off the top of somebody's library. Yeah, I was just thinking that, because it doesn't say that if he leaves play, it gets unexiled. So presumably it just stays exiled. Yeah, so you blink him every turn if you can, and just steal somebody's entire deck over the course of a game. A little bit, yeah. So we've got a decoction module again, another Aether Extraction, Consulate Surveillance, a Noxious Gear Hulk, 5/4, Artifact Creature Construct, 4/6, it has Menace. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Not bad. Planes? No. We've got a foil Weldfast Monitor. It's an artifact creature lizard that you can pay red to give menace. That's a whole mess there. Yeah, so I've heard the Gear Hulks are basically Kaladesh's equivalent of the Titans. I think Torrential Gear Hulk is supposed to be pretty good as well. So, Blossoming Defense. 1 green for target creature you control, gets +2/+2 and hexproof until end of turn. Not terrible. Start your engines. That's the vehicles thing again. Another hazardous condition. And another Dynavolt tower. I mean, blue control's always strong in the meta. I don't think there's ever been a meta where blue control isn't strong. Or maybe that's just me. Like, me and my hatred of blue control. It is well documented. So, another Spark of Creativity. Another Blossoming Defense. Voltaic Brawler. When Voltaic Brawler enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. If you do, it gets +1/+1 and trample until end of turn. Not amazing, not terrible. Animation Module. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are placed on a permanent you control, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. 3 tap, choose a counter on target permanent or player. Give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. Nice. And it's not an artifact creature, it's just an artifact, so I like that. And we got a foil Blossoming Defense. Yeah, defense. Suddenly wasn't sure whether it was defense or defiance. I know. Look, I'm over it now. I was only salty because it was like the first time I'd played Magic in 13 years and you whip out just like a blue control tax deck. It's like, that is not a good way of getting somebody back into the game. Furious Reprisal. 3 and a red for a sorcery, deals 2 damage to each of 2 target creatures and or players. Not amazing, not terrible. Fairgrounds Trumpeter, at the beginning of your end start. Oh, we've seen one of those. Whirling Virtuoso, we've seen one of those. So we're going to eliminate the competition. And a foil Trailblazer. Cloud Blazer even. And it's the battlefield, you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Yeah, If you can flicker it, that's not too bad. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure it's worth 4 mana? 5 mana? Jeez. Definitely not sure it's worth that. You say it worked. I think I was getting back into the game anyway, regardless. I blame Kat for that. If she's still listening, that's all your fault. So, Oval Chase Dragster. Era of Innovation. Whenever an artifact or artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, gain 2 energy. Pay 6 energy, sacrifice. Era of Innovation, draw 3 cards. Why on earth would you ever sacrifice that? Fairgrounds Warden. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Not bad. Another Pianella. I keep putting the bloody commons on the land pile. Okay. Oval Chase Daredevil. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Oval Chase Daredevil from your graveyard to your hand. Meh. Harness Lightning. Choose target creature, you gain 3 energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy, and it deals that much damage to that creature. Not terrible, I guess. Restoration Gearsmith. When it enters the battlefield, return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Not too terrible. And a Bomat Courier. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. Red, discard your hand, sacrifice Bomat Courier, put all cards exiled with Bomat Courier into their owner's hand. Okay. I can see what you'd play with that, but... maybe. Like, I'm sure some of the cards that I look at them and go, wow, that's awful, have a use. I'm just clearly not seeing it. So we've got a Ballista Charger, an Embral Bruiser. Enters the battlefield tapped, has menace as long as you control an artifact, and it's a 3/1 for 2. Meh. Another Refurbish, a Toolcraft Exemplar. I think we're about halfway through. Or halfway through this box, then we've got the Modern Horizons. I'm sure I can still not pull any of the Planeswalkers. So we've got a Quicksmith Genius. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I suppose it's good for sorting your hand out. Durable Handicraft. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. 5 and a green, sacrifice Durable Handicraft, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. That's fine, I guess. When Aether Hub enters the battlefield, you get an energy. You can tap it for a colourless, or you can tap it and pay an energy and add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Unless you've got ways of generating energy, it's next to useless. Paradoxical Outcome. Return any number of target non-token permanents you control to their owner's hand. Draw a card for each card returned to its owner's hand that way. Okay. Another Bizarre Barge. Ceremonious Rejection. Servo Exhibition. We had that? Yeah, create the coloured servos. Inventor's Fair. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. Tap it for 1 colourless mana. 4 tap it, sacrifice it, search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, shuffle your library. Activate it only if you control 3 or more artifacts. I suppose it's not terrible. Kind of is, but, you know. There we go. So we've got another spark of creativity. Make obsolete. We'll take Brawler. And Ovia Pashri, Sage Lifecrafter. So 1/2 human artifacer for 1. With 2 in a green, tap, create a 1/1 colour servo. Or 4 in a green and tap, create an XX colourless construct artifact creature token where X is the number of creatures you control. And it's in green. That could get out of hand very quickly. I feel like that's one of those you just generate a bunch of tokens, make one big token, and then just stomp. Fabrication module. Whenever you get 1 or more energy counters, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. 4 and tap, you get an energy. Suppose that's one way of generating energy, but 4 feels a little bit on the pricey side for it. Glimmer of Genius, scry 2, then draw 2 cards and you gain 2 energy. Aetherborn Marauder. Flying Lifelink, when it enters the battlefield, move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control to it. Yeah, not terrible. The Scrap Heap Scrounger. And a Foil Glass Blower's Puzzle Knot. Which is very pretty artwork. I think it looks prettier in the foil than it does the non-foil. So, Servant of the Conduit. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Tap, pay an energy, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Meh. Brazen Scourge. It's a 3/3 gremlin for 3 with haste. Okay. Cloud Blazer. That's that. Yeah, that's again. Oh, a Torrential Gear Hulk. Gear Hulk number 2. It's a 5/6 artifact creature construct with flash for 6 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card will be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it. Yeah, I see why that's good. That feels like Shenanigans the card. Yeah, you're gonna flicker that all the time, aren't you? I've not seen the red one yet. Fabrication module, Aetherborn Marauder, Sky Whaler's Shot, destroy target creature with power 3 or greater and scry 1. It's not terrible. Last New Hellion. It's a 4/4 Hellion for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy. Oh, and it has haste. I hate it. And a Gearseeker Serpent. Costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. 5 in a blue. Can't be blocked this turn. Bit on the pricey side for what it does, but sure. Okay, so we've got to start your engines. An Arborback Stomper. Imperial Voyager. I've not seen one of these before. Vidalcan Scout. 2/3 for 3 mana. Well, 1 a blue and a green. Flying Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy counters. Yeah. Alright. Wildest Dreams. Return X cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Wildest Dreams. And it's green and 2x. What, that I hate a card? Okay, so we've got a Perpetual Timepiece. Tap, put the top 2 cards over your library into your graveyard. 2, exile Perpetual Timepiece, shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library. Okay. Don't hate it. Oh. I mean, yeah, there's quite a lot in here that has semi-decent effects, but it's quite expensive for what you pay for it. So we've got another Shrewd Negotiations, the steal target person's card. Fairgrounds Warden and Territorial Gorger. It's a 2/2 Gremlin with Trample. Whenever you gain 1 or more energy, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Far too situational to be useful. So we've got 4 packs left, I think. Can we get another one of the Gear Hulks? I feel like that's more achievable than getting a Planeswalker at this point. With my luck. So we've got a Furious Reprisal, deals 2 damage to each. Yep, we've seen that. Servant of the Conduit, we've seen that. Contraband Kingpin. Aetherborn Rogue, 1/4. Lifelink, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1 for a blue and a black. You see, that's not bad. Oh, there you go. There's another Gear Hulk. Cataclysmic Gear Hulk, the white one. It's a 4/5 construct for 5. With Vigilance, when it enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among non-land permanents they control, and sacrifices the rest. Alright. So that's not bad. 3 out of the 5 Gear Hulks. So we've got a Chief of the Foundry, Glintnest Crane. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest onto the bottom of your library. Not bad for 2. Another Fretwork Colony. Another Dynavolt Tower. And that's clearly the common rare. Oh no, we've still got 5, 6, including this one. Yeah, that Dynavolt Tower must be the common rare of this set. There's always one in every set that you seem to end up with a ton of, even though it's rare. My one for Modern Horizons 2 seems to be Lonis Cryptozoologist, who I have like 6 copies of. So we've got Harsh Scrutiny. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a creature card from it and discard it, and you scry 1. Not bad. Inventor's Apprentice gets +1/+1 as long as you control an artifact. For 1 mana, it's not bad, especially if you can get an artifact land out. Contraband Kingpin, another Fumigate. That's 3 Fumigates. Another Foundry Inspector, Disappearing Act, Fretwork Colony. Oh, an Aetherflux Reservoir. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life, and it deals 50 damage to target creature or player. That I feel like can go in my life gain deck. I feel like that can spare 50 life sometimes. Yes, 50 damage. You pay 50 life to deal 50 damage to someone. Malphus Doorbuster, Nature's Way, Veteran Motorist. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. When it cruises a vehicle, the vehicle gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Not terrible, I guess. And Fleet Wheel Cruiser. Speaking of vehicles, it's a 5/3 vehicle for 4 with Trample and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, it becomes an artifact creature until the end of turn. Crew it for 2. It's not awful. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to respond with overwhelming firepower. That's just how it be. So we've got this pack and 2 more left of the Kaladesh, and then we're on to Modern Horizons 2. So we've got Make Obsolete, a Long Tusk Cub, Speedway Fanatic, and a Bristling Hydra. All ones we've seen before. Demolition Stomper. Can't be blocked by creatures power 2 or less. And it's 10/7 for 6. Sure. Era of Innovation, we've seen that. Aerial Responder, we've seen that. The Panharmonicon. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. That feels like it could go in my Panharmonicon. That certainly feels like it could go in my landfall deck. And a foil Blooming Marsh. Black-green version of the others. And if you've not got 2 or more lands, it comes in tapped. What's the other one that I put in the deck that it's like you can pay 1 to trigger an ability again? Trigger an ability coming into play again. I forget. So we've got Harnessed Lightning, Morbid Curiosity. There's an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw cards equal to the converted mana cost of the sacrifice permanent. Not bad. Imperial Voyager, another Authority of the Consuls, which I already have a full playset of, I think. And a Plains. So we weren't lucky enough to get any of the inventions, which is a shame. Even if I'd have only got one of the ones that was worth like 20-30 quid, it'd still have been nice just to have one. But, you know, it's what it is. So let's move these to one side. But either way, we got 3 out of the 5 Gear Hulks. We got the Aetherflux Reservoir, which I'm sure I'm going to annoy at least somebody with. And we got the Panharmonicon, which will be very good in my landfall deck. Okay, so let's move on to Modern Horizons 2. So, what are we after from this? I'd quite like a Gaeodon Dehada. I'd quite like any of the planeswalkers just to have them. Obviously, any more fetch lands that it can throw at me are always appreciated. So, let's have a look. Let's skip the commons. So we've got an Abiding Grace. At the beginning of your end step, choose one. You gain a life or return a creature card with mana value 1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. The Sketch Arcus Acolyte, which gives all of your creatures Outlast, as long as they don't have a +1/+1 counter on them. Artbound Whelp. Millikin. Verdant Catacombs in the first pack, so we're off to a good start. That's fetch land number 1 in pack 1. Oh, and I'd quite like the Surveillance of the Sea and Sky. Not because I have any intentions of building a Merfolk deck, it's just got really pretty artwork, so I want it. So we've got Radiant Epicure, a Kaleidoscorch, a Herd Baloth, Flame Rift, and Dress Down. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, creatures lose all abilities. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Dress Down. Okay. I think I've seen that one before. So, look, we've got a Fey Offering, an Archfiend of Sorrows, a Power Depot, a Shardless Agent, and a Chef's Kiss, and a Foil Verdant Command. 3 rares in a pack. That's not too bad. Verdant Command was one of the ones that I was missing, so take another one off the box. For anyone who doesn't know, I am trying to go for a full set of Modern Horizons 2. Even if I can't get a full play set of it, I'd quite like to get a full set. So we've got a Retro Frame Brainstone, Ghostlit Drifter, Graceful Restoration, Yavimaya Elder, and Dermo Taxi. Ooh, Sketch Abundant Harvest. That's quite a nice one for the art. Sketch Phantasmal Dreadmaw, Retro Frame Air Amoeba, Retro Frame Liquimetal Torque, Glorious Enforcer, Lazotep Chancellor, Greed, Solitude, another one of the things I was missing. So it's the Elemental Incarnation for white. The only one I've got so far is black, which is Grief. So it's a 3/2 Incarnation for 5 with Flash and Lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield you exile up to one other target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power, and you can evoke it by exiling a white card from your hand. Evoke basically means play it without paying its mana cost, for anyone who doesn't know. Okay, so we've got a Terramorph, Altar of the Goyf, Scuttletide, Extruder, a Thought Monitor, and a Foil Millikin. Blossoming Calm, Glinting Creeper, Dragon's Rage Channeler, a Gorilla Shaman, an Unmarked Grave. I do like how happy that Gorilla Shaman looks. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on him just to look at him. Look how happy he is. So happy to be destroying artifacts. So we've got a Tireless Provisioner, Specimen Collector, a Slag Strider, a Sea Drake, and a Dalthy Voidwalker. I think he looks happy. You never know, we might get the other monkey card. I doubt it though, it's like... it's one of the mythics. So, Necromancer's Familiar, Brainstone, Artbound Shikari, Sea Drake, Misty Rainforest, that's fetch land number 2. If nothing else, I might end up with a playset of the fetch lands. Necromancer's Familiar, Thraben Watcher, Altar of the Goyf, Wonder, and Dress Down. So we've got a Blossoming Calm, another Dragon's Rage Channeler, Said and Done, Fire and Ice. Is that rare? Yeah, Fire and Ice is rare. Oh, and a Timeless Dragon. Again, haven't had a Timeless Dragon before, so that fills in another spot. I do really like Modern Horizons 2, like, just as a set. Chittering Ogre, the Underworld Cookbook, an Artbound Shikari, Titania, Protector of Argoth, very nice, and a Priest of Fell Rites. I'm going to show this, just, I know it's a common, but I do think the sketch art on World Weary, if I can get it to focus in, it's just really good. Like, the card's fine, but I really like the art, so... there we go. So, we've got a Barbed Spike, a Sketch Underworld Hermit, a Vidalcan Infiltrator, a Seal of Removal, and damn. I feel like you've got to say it like that. Another one of those wonderful board wipes that I refuse to play. One day somebody's going to get a real shock when I do play a board wipe. Because I've been trying to build commander decks, and the number of like things that I've read that are like, oh yeah, you need to include board wipe, you need board wipes, and I'm just like, but I don't play board wipes. So Steel Dromedary, Healer's Flock, Blazing Rootwaller, Angelic Curator, oh, and a Sphalen of Sea and Sky. There we go. There's one of the cards that I wanted. Nice Merfolk God, which I just want because the art's gorgeous. And a foil Blacksmith Skill. So, Foundation Breaker, a Retro Frame Violin Tuner, Arcazacolite, Mog Salvage, Territorial Cavu, ooh, and a foil Chance Encounter. Which is again quite a... Again, if I can get the camera to focus on it. It might not like that because of foil, but I do think it's, again, quite nice artwork. Yeah, the sketch ones are really nice. I hope that's a sort of a showcase frame that they decide to keep going forward. And especially as well because the ones that do have flavor text on them have the sort of art direction for it, which I think is really fascinating to read. So we've got a Steel Dromedary. I see a borderless art there at the back. We'll get there. Steel Dromedary, Spreading Insurrection, Junk Winder, Soul Snare, and a full art Solitude. So that's our second Solitude, but look at that full art. That looks so good. I think that's only my second full art that I've had for this. I know obviously you're more likely to get the full arts in collector's boosters, but I'm really not willing to pay £40 for a collector's booster. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the set, I like the art, but 40 quid for 15 cards is a little bit much. So we've got a Scurry Oak, a Young Necromancer, a Constable of the Realm, Patchwork Gnomes, Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp, and a foil Lens Flare. Like, I get the point of collector's boosters, and I have indulged in a few Strixhaven ones, because I wanted the Japanese Mystical Archives cards. But I think they're just a little bit, especially for like Modern Horizons, because, you know, Strixhaven collector's booster is 20 quid, which is still steep, but is less steep than 40 quid for... Yeah, I don't know. I can't quite get behind the 40 quid collector's boosters for Modern Horizons. So we've got a Timeless Provisioner, a Rakdos Headliner, Said and Done, Patchwork Gnomes, and a Master of Death. I got him already. Master of Death enters Battlefield Surveil 2 at the beginning of your upkeep. If he's in your graveyard, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return it to your hand. I might have him already. He's definitely not a card that really sort of sticks out to me. It's just a little bit underwhelming. So, we've got Break the Ice, Vectis Gloves, Kaleidoscorch, Chainer, and a Rashidun Deckhand. Still noticing a lack of Planeswalkers here. I've also managed to not get Sethis Harvest Hands so far. I wouldn't use her in my landfall deck because she's better for Enchantress decks, but it'd be nice if I had her just to round her out, since I'm running a Karametra deck at the moment. So we've got a Tide Shaper, Goblin Trap Runner, Filigree Attendant, Braids, Cabal Minion, and Karth the Lion. Abiding Grace, Glinting Creeper, Sweep the Skies, Millikin, Chatterfang Squirrel General, another one, and a foil Nested Shambler. Hello, Izzy. So we've got a Caprichrome, Combine Chrysalis in Sketch. Probably one of the less impressive sketch cards. It's not bad, but I think it feels a little more done than a lot of the other sketches, so it kind of loses a little bit of the effect. Herd Baloth, Hunting Pack. Oh, talking of sketches though, that is a sketch Esper Sentinel, who is again a card that I've not had previously, but yes, I like the ability. Unless your opponent pays X, which is Esper Sentinel's power, which starts off as a 1/1, so it's not terrible. Whenever they play their first non-creature spell each turn, you get to draw a card, unless they pay that amount. And he's in white, so getting his power up is not going to be difficult at all. Just have a quick. So we've got to Break the Ice, Fast and the Furious, an Ether Sworn Sphinx, Vindicate, oh, and a Profane Tutor. Nice. Profane Tutor in the retro frame as well. Look at that. Come on, you can do it. These retro frames do make me a little bit nostalgic for how the cards used to look. There's a Profane Tutor from that and a couple of Diabolic Tutors from the Kaladesh set. I'm set for black tutors at the moment. So, Artbound Javelineer, Squirrel Sovereign, Ravenous Squirrels, Zuran Orb, and a Retro Frame Territorial Kavu. Thanks, Izzy. Yeah, the problem with these old gold borders, if I can get it to focus. Come on. Come on. Come on. Is the white on the gold is kind of hard to read. Especially at a distance. It's still quite cool though, they give me those nostalgia feels. Back in the day when gold multicolored cards were so rare, you very seldom ever saw them, and now you just have multicolored cards everywhere. A simpler time. Not necessarily a better time, but a simpler time. So we've got a Terramorph, a Legion Vanguard, Sweep the Skies, Scourge Familiar. Oh, and another Yavimaya. Not the retro frame this time, but still. Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. Sketch Sudden Edict, which, I don't know, I look at that and I wouldn't say that artwork is a sketch. I feel like that is pushing the... Come on. That looks awfully done for a sketch. Flametongue Yearling, Scuttle-Tide, Goblin Bombardment, and Rise and Shine. I don't think I've seen Rise and Shine yet. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact. Put 4+1/+1 counters on each artifact that became a creature this way. Overload. 4 and 2 blue, you may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change sets by replacing all instances of target with each. Okay. suppose that's not bad for a way for blue to just clear the board a little bit, turn everything into a... It's like everything becomes a 4/4 artifact creature, but if people have got annoying abilities on stuff, it gets rid of them. So we've got Vectis Gloves, a Caprichrome, Combine Chrysalis, Bone Shredder, General Ferris Roderick, Rocky Rick. We'll just call him Rocky Rick. He's a 3/1 human soldier for a red, a white, 1. Hexproof from multicolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature. Alright. I mean, he's a Boros soldier. Like, you'd run him in a Boros deck, which is going to have plenty of multicolored cards. Batterbone. So we've got a Batterbone, Skull of the Desert, Road to Ruin, Bone Shredder, Torak, Dread Cantor, Human Cleric, 2/1 for 2 mana, well 1 and a black, with 2 black as a kicker. Whenever opponent discards a card, you can put a +1/+1 counter on him, and when he enters the battlefield, if it was hit, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. So if you can afford to pay his kicker, he comes in instantly buffed. And we've got Strike It Rich, Captain Ripley Vance. I will get my words out eventually, you know. Prophetic Titan, an Upheaval, a Harmonious Prodigy, and a foil Flay Essence. That's quite nice. See if we can get the camera to just yeah, the way the foil's on like the blood. Quite nice. So I think we've got 6 packs, 7 packs left. 7 packs. Told you, I'm just cursed not to get Planeswalkers. Prismatic Ending, Violent Tumor, Spreading Insurrection, Soul Snare, and a Chitter Spitter. So, Squirrel Sanctuary, a Raving Visionary, a Sanctuary Raptor, a Retro Frame Shardless Agent. That's so hard to read on that. But it's nice though. And a Gaia's Will. Or Gaia's Will. Gaia's Will? Gaia. You know what I mean. Renderin Hydra, Monoskelion, Lucid Dreaming, Seal of Removal, and a Verdant Command. I go from having no Verdant Commands to 2. It reminds me, I still need to get an Austere Command for my Angel deck. So we've got a Legion Vanguard, Strike It Rich, Thraben Watcher, Mishra's Factory, and Eve Progenitor Ooze. It's quite an interesting one. Like it's a ooze with Storm. So it isn't legendary if it's a token, and creates a copy of itself for every spell you've cast before it in the turn. And Eve enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other ooze you control. Can you play Ooze Tribal? You can try. You can certainly try. You might be able to with the new, with the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set, because there's quite a few oozes so far been previewed in that, you know. ochre jellies and a gelatinous cube and that kind of thing. Feast of Sanity, Retro Frame Blazing Rootwaller, a Mystic Redaction, Scourge Familiar, and an Ennoble Hierarch. Yeah, I thought that as well. If I pull one in a pack, I might send one to her just a reminder of that. So we've got two. We've got this and one more pack left. So we've got Skyblade's Boon, Blessed Respite, Prophetic Titan, Nevinral's Disc, and a Marsh Flats. That's fetch land number 3. And a foil retro prismatic ending. That's quite interesting. And last pack. Am I going to go 2 full booster boxes of Modern Horizons 2 without getting a single Planeswalker? It certainly looks like it. So we've got a Flay Essence, a Flame Blitz, a Sketch Timeless Witness, an Extruder, a Nettle Cyst, and a foil Angelic Curator. So yeah, that's that's 2 booster boxes of Modern Horizons, and not a single one of the Planeswalkers from it. But I did get a bunch of the rares that I was missing from the set, so that's not too bad. So let's pop the box out of the way for a second. So we got the Nettle Cyst, Marsh Flats, Ennoble Hierarch, Eve the Progenitor Ooze, Verdant Command, Gaia's Will. Where can I put these where they can be seen a little better? There, maybe. Yeah, let's move them to there. A retro Shardless Agent, Chitter Spitter, Harmonic Prodigy, Torok the Dread Cantor, Rocky Rick, Rise and Shine, Goblin Bombardment, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, a retro Territorial Kavu, a retro Profane Tutor, Vindicate, Sketch Esper Sentinel, Chatterfang, Braids, Karth the Lion, Chain and Nightmare Adept, Rishidan Dockhand, Master of Death. So running out of space. Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp, a full art Solitude, Chance Encounter, Territorial Kavu, Svalin of Sea and Sky, Damn, Priest of Fell Rites, Titania, the Timeless Dragon, Fire and Ice, Dress Down, Wonder, Misty Rainforest, Doughty Voidwalker, Unmarked Grave, Thought Monitor, another Solitude, Dermo Taxi, Foil Verdant Command, Chef's Kiss, Shardless Agent, Dress Down, and Verdant Catacombs. So, all round, not too bad. Shame I still didn't get any of the Planeswalkers, but I got a couple of the cards that I wanted, like the Svalin of Sea and Sky, and the Timeless Dragon. So, you know, all round, not too bad. But that is it for what we have to open tonight. I actually don't know what we'll have next week. Because we're coming up to the release of Adventures in Forgotten Realms. So that will be, I think that's the week after next. Where are we up to? Oh no, that'll be the week after that. It's 23rd, isn't it? But yeah, we will have something to open next week. I'm not sure it'll be as exciting as 2 booster boxes. Yeah, so when Adventures in the Forgotten Realms comes out, I've actually got 2 booster boxes pre-ordered. I've got a set booster and a draft booster. So I'll be opening them both on stream close to the time. Um, my plan is to maybe get a couple of games of Commander in on Spell Table over the weekend, which, if everybody I'm playing with is alright with me streaming, I might stream those games. If I don't, I will be back here next Monday with something to open. We'll play it by ear on what exactly that ends up being. But thank you all for watching, thank you all for hanging out. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Raelianhard, the same as is on here. The VODs will go up on YouTube, and I am working on my first YouTube video going up talking about returning to the game and what I think of the current sets in terms of how beginner friendly they are. You know, if you're getting into the game in 2021, are the current sets in standard a good starting point? So yeah, please look forward to that coming out. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you all next time. Bye. Hello.